Hi, I'm Larry Puckett, the DCC guy. Well, last week we took a look at the topic of beginner, intermediate, and advanced DCC systems. Then right after that, within a day or two, I got a package in the mail from the folks at TCS. And in it was their LT-50 beginner DCC system. In addition, I have another box just like this one that has their advanced CS105 DCC system. So today we're going to do an unboxing of this guy here. We'll set it up on the module, give it a test, and see how it works. And then I'll go over the specs. Then in a couple of weeks or so, after I've had a chance to work with the more advanced CS105, we'll do the same with that. So let's go ahead and get started. Hit that little red subscribe button, and when the little bell comes up, click on it and click all. Okay, let's go ahead and open the box and see what we've got here. So right off, we've got the instruction manual right on top. I will point out I've already read the instruction manual online, so I'm pretty familiar with the system, I think. And I've already looked at their introductory videos on their YouTube channel, particularly the latest one on how to set it up and get it working. Okay, so let's see what's in here. So this is their cable that connects the handset to the power panel or the plug-in panel. And then some more bubble wrap. Okay. And here is the unit itself. Okay, let's continue, see what else we've got in here. A little bag of connectors and screws, that kind of thing. We have a second control knob. I'm going to keep this one in here, out of the way. So this is the plug-in panel, and we'll have to put that together. I'll show you. There is a faceplate that comes with the plug-in panel, and it fits right here on the front to give you a nice fascia-mounted setup. So I'm going to be putting that together in just a minute. Okay, let's see what else is in the box. Okay, this is the power supply. It's rated at 15 volts, 2400 milliamps, so 2.4 amps. And I'll tell you up front that the device itself is rated at 1.4 amps continuous and 2.8 amps momentary. So it has quite a bit of power, comparable to the PowerCab. So I'm going to put this aside because we'll use that in just a minute. So the first thing I need to do, there's some screws here. So I've got two of these for mounting the panel on the plug-in panel device. And there are 4 wood screws for mounting the device on your fascia. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the camera and screw this on here, and we'll come back after I've done that. Okay, so here is the plug-in panel with the faceplate mounted on the device, as well as you can see the 2 screws, one here and one here, that I used to install it. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit and take a closer look at this. So right here on the front, there are 2 sockets, one over here that says LT, and that's where the unit itself has to be plugged in. And just like with the PowerCab, it always has to be plugged in right here. And that activates, gets everything going, makes the connection between the device and the power panel or the plug-in panel. On this side is our LCC port. Now, LCC means Layout Command Control, which is something I've been avoiding talking about for several years now. But finally, we have a fully capable DCC system for me to talk about. So in a future video, we will address LCC and what that means. Also, the CS105 is an LCC compatible system. Let me point out here that there's a little LED right here on the front, and that is basically a pilot light. When we power up, that's going to come on. Okay, let's look at the back side. So just like with the PowerCab, we have a barrel plug here on the back and a jack for it, so we can plug that in just like this. In addition, it has this plug-in screw terminal device. You can just plug this into here, and then we'll be able to insert the 2 wires that go to the layout in here, tighten down the screws, and that'll be done. Now, one thing on here, There are some jumpers right in here, and they explain in the manual what these are. These are set up, ready to run. You don't have to make any changes to these. And as I said, it explains in the manual how you can use these at a future date. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead, connect this guy up, and we'll plug it in and power up and see if it's going to work. Okay, I've got the power supply plugged in but not turned on yet. And I'm going to plug this guy in here. Okay, it's a very tight fit, let me tell you. Okay, let me power it up and see what happens. So you can see the power light came on red first. Now it's green to go, so we're ready. In addition, the screen, I don't know if you can see that. Yep, the screen has lit up here, and we're ready to go ahead and start using this. So what I want to do now is, now that we know it works and how easy it is to put it together, I'm going to move over to the module, and we'll make the connection to the layout DCC power bus and see how it works. We're here, over here at the module. You can see I've got this sitting on top of the SB5. So we're going to basically take the wires out of here that go to the SB5 and connect it to the modules. So we get the two wires, and then I'm going to take these two guys and insert them in right here. And we'll tighten those two screws. And we'll make the connection to the back here for track power. So that gives us power to the module, power here going out to the track. Next, I want to go ahead and plug in to the LT-50 port here. And the final thing we can do is turn on the power. Okay, we've got power on the track at this point. So now the device is asking me, would you like to see the welcome tutorial? Let's skip. Okay, so now we're at the point here where we can select a locomotive. So I'm going to go ahead, push the button, and let me point out that operation mode is very similar, if not identical, to the UWT-50 and the UWT-100s that I've gone over in the past. So all you have to do is hit the loco button and enter a loco address. So I think I've got 5786 on here, and we'll hit the enter. So we should be able to operate locomotive 5786. And just to test that, we'll give it a blow. So just that quickly, I've been up and operating a train on the modules using the LT-50 system. So let me go ahead, change the camera angle so that you can see what's going on the layout itself. Okay, I've zoomed in here on the module so you can see the locomotives. The one on the right there is 5786, as you can plainly hear. And we can move him a little bit. Let's change the direction. There's the direction key right there. Okay, one thing, let's see if we can't, let me bring him out of the way. Let's change the switch down there. So all we have to do, you can see there's a little button here that has a switch on it next to my thumb. So we can push that. And it's wanting to know what switch. Well, let's try number 6. Let me zoom in so you can see that. So that's switch number 6 right there. And as you can see right now, it is thrown. So what I'm going to do is hit that little switch button here. And you can see it's still on 6. So all I have to do is hit the enter key. And now the switch has changed to allow the locomotive to go down the ladder. That's how easy it is. If you have accessory decoders on your layout, you can have this thing up and running, controlling the accessories on your layout that you have already installed, or if you want to add more, you'll be able to do it very easily with this throttle. Okay, what I want to do next is enter an additional locomotive, and then we'll take a look at how we can do a consist. Okay, I went ahead and added locomotive 5775, and now I'm going to hit the menu key, and that's this guy with the dashes here, and we'll go into that, and I'm going to go down to number 3, consisting. So if I hit key 3, we can add a loco to a consist. Let's start with 5775, hit enter, and then we're going to add a locomotive. So you can see right there, button 3 is for that, and that's this button with 3 dots. And then we're going to add 5786 and hit enter. Okay, so now we've done that. Let's escape. And that's the 1 key. Do it again, and we're back out. And as you can see, it shows that we've got a consist being controlled on the throttle. So let me bring those up together. Okay, I manually brought those closer together so that we could see them, so I didn't have to break the consist up again. But at any rate, here, let's give it a try. We will use the throttle to control them and see if they operate as a consist. So you can clearly see we've created the consist. We can reverse it. Very responsive, nice, smooth operation. Okay, let's go into consist mode again. And we're going to clear the current consist. So we hit 3, and that's it. Now I can move 5775, which is active, and it's going to go down the ladder. Okay, so you can see 5775 is here active on the throttle. You can see the direction, and 5786 is right here. So if I hit this little button right next to my thumb, number 1, it makes 5786 active. So we can switch between 2 locomotives that quickly just by hitting that recall button. So 5786 will now go in reverse. Let's go ahead and take a look at the menu system. So I'm going to hit the menu key right here again next to my thumb, and we can scroll down. So there's the recall, we can move down operations, consisting, programming, CV programming, various settings. Okay, we're down here to the flashlight. Looks like it's at number 0. So you can see we've got a couple of very bright LEDs there. So if you need to look at something on the layout, check out a number, whatever, you've got a flashlight right there handy. Cut that off. I'm not going to take you through the whole menu. That would bore the daylights out of you, I think. So it's a nice menu-driven system, very functional, easy to access locomotives, easy to create a consist, easy to break it up, very quick and fast response to the throttle. Let's go ahead and take a look at the specifications for the LT-50. Okay, now that we've seen how the LT-50 system actually works, let me go ahead and run over some of the specifications, the capacities, that kind of thing, for the device, because this is a really nice little unit for beginners. It's obviously something that can handle most of your needs on a small to middle-size model railroad. And eventually they'll be coming out with another throttle that will be able to plug into expansion panels on the layout, so you'll be able to do walk-around operations just like you can with the PowerCab. And that's something I want to point out, because the folks at TCS have been consistently saying in their videos up front that this is going to be a very similar device to the PowerCab. The command station and the booster itself are built right in to the handset, just like on the PowerCab. It has to be wired in to the plug-in panel all the time, just with the PowerCab, and it has similar capabilities. It comes in at about 1.4 amps continuous, but can take up to about 2.8 amps peak. Now, before I disconnected the LT-50 from the module, I went ahead and used my RR amp meter to check the voltage on the track, and it came in at exactly 14.0 volts. So you've got pretty good voltage there on the track. You're also going to have, what did I say, 1.4 to 2.8 amps available to you, enough to run several locomotives at the same time. And that's the question: how many locomotives is this system capable of supporting? Well, I can tell you up to 25. Other than that, I'm just a little bit unsure, because the specifications have not been provided in the manuals up front. So I got that information directly from talking with the guys at tech support at TCS. So that's what they told me, that you can have about 25, maybe 30 locomotives, something like that. The same thing for the number of throttles, and also about 25 locomotives potentially could be in a consist. Now, obviously, you're not going to be operating 25 locomotives off of 1.4 amps. So that's just a theoretical limitation. And there are a lot of other expansion capabilities coming for this device in the future. As I said earlier, they're planning on releasing the T50 throttle, and it's going to plug in to the expansion panel on the layout. They also offer a B106 booster, that's a 5 amp booster, for use with the CS105 command station. At the present time, they're undecided as to whether or not they're going to provide support for that with the LT-50. Their feeling is that it's a better pathway for you to upgrade to their full CS105 system. And you will be able to use the old LT-50 as a throttle with that CS105. So it has an upgrade path for you built right in there. Now, what about some of the other capabilities? Well, it's the same as you get with just about everything else. You got 3-digit addresses, 1 to 127. You've got 4-digit addresses all the way up to 9,999. You've got 2,044 accessory addresses. So all of the typical capabilities that you expect from a full DCC system are going to be available. You got all 29 of the NMRA functions available to you, so everything is there. Also, if you purchase an LCC USB interface from the folks at RR Circuits, that will allow you to communicate with Decoder Pro and JMRI, that kind of thing. And you'll be able to use a Y throttle with these devices. Now, at the present time, though, you will not be able to download rosters directly from Decoder Pro into this device like you can with the UWT-50 and UWT-100. That could change in the future when they release a new firmware upgrade. That hasn't been decided yet as to whether or not they're going to do that. So there's just a lot of this is so new that there's just a lot of things that have not been fully developed with it as yet. So there's a lot of potential down the road. They will also be releasing their own interface that will provide a lot more capabilities. And by the way, you will need some sort of interface to connect to a computer in order to do your firmware updates for these. Now, as far as rosters and things of that nature, as I said, you can't download them from Decoder Pro. However, you can enter somewhere around 25 or so, 30 locomotives into the roster. And I might be wrong about that because that's something that was not specified in there. I know that there can be up to 25 active locos. There can be up to 25 locos in a consist. I'm assuming that there might be a 25 loco limit for their roster, but I'm not sure about that. So don't hold me to it. Now, what about programming? Well, one of the things, and again, like the PowerCab, there is no separate programming output. It is combined. You have the choice of either operating locomotives or doing service mode programming. However, you can do programming on the main, just like with any other DCC system and with the PowerCab, so you have that capability. In addition, the LT-50 supports Railcom. Now, Railcom is a capability where you can actually read back CV settings from a decoder installed in a locomotive when it is on the main line using programming on the main. Now, it must be a decoder that supports Railcom. But for now, basically you have programming on the main, you have service mode programming through the track power outputs, just like you do with a PowerCab. It has a bit more functionality built in as far as the number of throttles, the number of locos. In addition, it has LCC, layout command control capabilities. What that means, another one of those things that's still questionable, because right now there's just not a lot of stuff out there available that has LCC abilities built in. So if you're interested in finding out more about the LT-50 system, I suggest you go to the TCS website. That's tcsdcc.com. Look up the LT-50 and download a copy of their manual. In addition, if you go to the TCS YouTube channel, you'll find some videos there. They have at least one recent video on setting up the LT-50. Well, that's a wrap for today's video on the new TCS LT-50 DCC system. So if you're looking for a beginner set to get you started with DCC, I suggest that you go to the TCS website, download that information that I told you about, take a look at it, and see if this is going to fit your needs and your wallet. In the meantime, have a great weekend, have a great week. I'll see you here next week with another video from the DCC Guy. Bye now.